There's one ship that is very underrated in all of Murder Drones. Everyone talks about Newsy being the perfect ship. Some people will argue about Envy. Others will argue about Jessa, Nuvi, Vizzy, so on and so forth. But there's one ship that quietly has one of the most interesting dynamics in Murder Drones. It's Vizzy. At first glance, V and Lizzy don't make sense together. One is a literal murder machine with trauma and trust issues that's a psychopathic killer, and the other is, well, Lizzy, someone who's a high school popular kid. But the more you look at their interactions together, the more you realize this ship isn't meant to be a random ship. It's subtle and a slow burning one. And it is one of the healthiest things for V's ultimate redemption arc. Hello everyone, welcome back to Panzerverse. It's your host Panzer speaking. On today's video, we are going to be talking about one of the most underrated ships in all of Murder Drones, Vizzy. Who are V and Lizzy? Well, like I said, V's a psychopathic murderer, and Lizzy's basically a high school teenage drone. That is weird to say, I can't even describe them both. But yeah, V, is aggressive, sarcastic, emotionally closed off, emotionally just traumatic. Basically wants to kill everyone, and keeps a lot of people at distance, like she did with Ed. Lizzy, on the other hand, popular, mean, very self-absorbed, like she cares about herself. But there's one thing that I don't think people realize, and we're going to go back on this later on. Let's start with episode 1, where these both interact with each other. And nothing happens. Like, literally, that's all of episode 1, nothing happens between these two. Episode 2, nothing happens between those two. Episode 3, oh, that's where the interesting stuff happens. Episode 3 starts off with V wanting to kill everyone in the bunker. And basically, they both want to kill each other. V wanted to kill Lizzy and everyone else. Lizzy, with the influence of Doll, wanted to kill V. It's a weird thing. But yeah, they befriend each other to basically try to kill the other. This is already not a very healthy relationship. But let's move on. When V was about to step in the spot where Doll was going to kill her, Lizzy gave her the warning. And this is where we see Lizzy kind of caring about V, which is weird, because V's killed a lot of people. And yeah, that's the first element of the ship that we see. They're both planning on killing each other, and one ends up saving the other. Let's move on to episode 4. Episode 4 is where we have a lot of our stuff for the ship happen. And V and Lizzy befriend each other. And I think there's one thing that we don't understand. I think Lizzy's able to understand V. She isn't trying to be like Uzi, where she's trying to get into V. She's just like treating V like a friend. And she isn't like N, who's like, constantly questioning V, saying stuff. She's like okay with it. She's like meh. Which I think for V helps her, because it's not someone who's trying to poke at her psychologically and trying to figure out what's wrong with her. But in this episode, we do see Lizzy's about to be killed by Solver Uzi, and then V swoops in and saves the day. Probably to save Lizzy. I think genuinely V cared about Lizzy at this point, because Lizzy had been the one worker drone who's treated her like a person. The rest haven't really treated her like she could have. V could have came earlier, but she didn't. As soon as Lizzy was in danger, she came up. Pretty simple thing. Episode 5, we got nothing. Episode 6, we got absolutely nothing except V sacrificing herself, but, yada yada yada. Episode 7, nothing really. Episode 8 is where we get all of our stuff. During the destruction of Copper 9, Lizzy, Thad, and Con all get attacked by Jay. And guess who's there to save the day? The one, the only V. Ignore the fact that Sparky's trying to, harm Lizzy. But hey, we can ignore that for another time, people. But no, We see that at this point, V truly cares about the worker drones, and I think Lizzy's was one of the steps for her to eventually go down her arc of redemption. And we especially see this towards the end. She is sitting with Lizzy, and especially in the end credits, we see her with Lizzy in multiple of the end credits. Which is really, really, really interesting. That these two actually build some kind of a relationship. And then, we have the music video where, it's just a music video and they're both together. And V didn't kill Lizzy in the music video. It's all a complicated thing that we're all going to go on another time. But yeah, why does this ship make sense? This ship makes sense because we have to look at it in the way of V. For V, it ultimately made sense because Lizzy was one of the things that ultimately helped her go down the path of redemption. The one worker drone she could care about. Because Lizzy did the one thing that V wanted someone to do. Not someone who's trying to fix her, like Uzi or Ed. Someone who just lets her exist without any expectation of being good or being bad. And Lizzy does that. She doesn't try to bond with her with trauma or anything. She just, treats her like a normal person. Which is surprisingly very effective for someone who is a psychopathic murderer. But hey, that's maybe all you need to, have someone care about you. But yeah, no, this is a ship that is a slow burning one. It's a natural ship. It isn't like Envy, where it's like a what if. This is okay, if we do ever get a MD season 2 or future MD content, this is something that could easily be done. And that's why this ship generally feels underrated. In all of MD, realistically speaking, we have 2 real ships. One of them has an asterisk on it, and that's Corey, but the other actual ship we have is Newsy. And for me, I feel like Vizzy's in the category that it should be official. It makes a lot of sense for both characters. It's not something that we're just, making poof out of a hat all of a sudden. But yeah, Vizzy isn't a loud love story. It's a quiet connection. And a show full of violence, humor, death, emotional danger, psychological stuff, all the stuff that MD has that makes it amazing. It's a kind of softness that hits harder than anything else. It's a softness that adds to a show that doesn't really have that much of it. So yeah, Vizzy isn't just some random cracked up shit. It's a ship that makes actual sense. Wow. Hey everyone, this is Post-Production Panzer. I'm reading my script. My script is terrible. Ignore some of the bad jokes and ignore the minor swearing you all heard. But yeah, I guess that's all we have for the video today. Vizzy's a pretty good ship. If I had to rate it, 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it a solid, actually no, 8.5 out of 10. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, that's all I have for today's video. Please remember, please comment down below. It actually helps out the channel. If you have any more ships that any of you want to recommend, hey, just comment it down below and I'll probably cover in the future. And don't worry, if you're here for Digital Circus content, that will come soon also. I'm just alternating between Digital Circus, MD, and other stuff. So, MD's kind of in the cycle right now. But yeah, if you have any thoughts, comment down below. Like the video, subscribe, you all know the basic stuff. And go do your damn outro, and I'll see you all later.
Well, you all heard from the man himself. He wants a damn girlfriend, so you better subscribe to help get him a girlfriend. Well, I hope to see you all later, and hope to see you all back on Panzerverse soon.